Carolina Week.
Listen to the people that work, the ones that need to work and want to just work one job and not multiple jobs just to make a living.
A new raise for minimum wage workers. A new bill is calling for it. Why some are for it while others are against it.
Every single day I have somebody asking us the when question.
The high impacts legalizing marijuana could have on a Franklin Street business.
Here was a beautiful bureau, Dean Smith. So let's not hide him under a bushel.
And the mural highlighting a Carolina legend may soon need to find a new home. We'll explain why.
From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Good morning and welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Sarah Gems.
And I'm Isha Patanaik. We have lots to talk about today, Paul and Dean Smith and marijuana.
But first up, college campuses across the country are seeing protests in support of students detained by ICE. Demonstrations have taken place at multiple schools, including Tufts, Columbia, and the University of Alabama. ICE says the detained students have had their visas revoked. In many of the cases, the Trump administration has said their visas were revoked because of their activism. Critics say these detentions violate the detainees' First Amendment and due process rights. The Trump administration officials say these individuals pose a threat to foreign policy.
Given the detentions of students, Carolina Week reached out to university officials to find out if the chancellor had any meetings with ICE. The university said he has not met with ICE. Meanwhile, immigrant advocates here are continuing to host Know Your Rights sessions. This week, Students United for Immigrant Equality and El Pueblo guided students through real-life scenarios and explained immigration laws. Organizers say they want to empower immigrants and allies with the knowledge of what to do if confronted by ICE. SUI coordinator Paola Lopez Cervantes says students don't feel safe on campus and need unity now more than ever.
Even if you are a U.S. citizen, it's important to be an advocate for those who can't advocate for themselves, whether they be family, friends, neighbors. We're stronger as a community.
At the session, organizers also emphasized knowing the difference between judicial and administrative warrants. North Carolina lawmakers introduced a bill in the House to raise the state's minimum wage. Our Ben Mahalovich went to Hillsborough Business to tell us what this change might mean in Orange County.
With this, a nut butter recipe that she loved. 14 years later, it has turned into a business that has created jobs for several employees.
You have to believe that what we do matters, and you have to believe that you are valued.
She says that she learned that keeping her employees happy and feeling included is key. So, at Big Spoon Roasters, she pays to cover the costs of basic needs.
The cost of food, the cost of utilities, the cost of transportation, access to public transportation, access to childcare, cost of healthcare. These are all things that factor in.
Now, a bill in the House could increase the minimum wage to $22 per hour. It would mark the first change in the state's minimum wage since 2009.
I've worked in past jobs where I could go a whole year and get a nickel raise. And a really funny example of that is I was told one time, at least you got a nickel.
Julie Knepp, a Big Spoon Roasters employee, says a higher wage makes her more productive, but not everyone supports the new bill. Critics of the bill cite difficulties for some small businesses that don't generate enough revenue to keep up with the proposed minimum wage. Knepp disagrees.
Listen to the people that work, the ones that need to work and want to just work one job and not multiple jobs just to make a living.
Reporting in Hillsborough for Carolina Week, I'm Ben Mahalovich.
This is one of two bills impacting minimum wage in the House. Today, President Donald Trump's new reciprocal tariffs are set to be put in place in a day the president calls Liberation Day. The president plans to announce the full plan later today. President Trump says these tariffs will apply to all countries and that there is not a cutoff. However, experts expect them to focus on the ones with the largest trade imbalances, such as India, the European Union, China, United Kingdom, Mexico, and more. In a press session Tuesday, Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt emphasized the administration's confidence in the tariffs.
They're not going to be wrong. It is going to work. And the president has a brilliant team of advisors who have been studying these issues for decades. We are focused on restoring the golden age of America.
A New Jersey senator broke the record for the longest speech on the Senate floor, speaking for over 24 hours. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker delivered a 25-hour and 5-minute speech on the Senate floor. He talked about the Democrats' resistance to President Donald Trump. The previous record, 24 hours and 18 minutes, was set by South Carolina Senator Strom Thurmond in 1957.
Can break this record. The man who tried to stop the rights upon which I stand. I'm not here, though, because of his speech. I'm here despite his speech.
Among the major talking points that Booker pointed out, concerns over Medicaid benefits.
A UNC student's request to overturn a residence hall election has been denied. Carolina Week reported last week that Addison Trusey was protesting the results of the residence hall presidential election. Trusey was initially told she was the winner, but then she was informed that Aurora Ferrar had won. The UNC Supreme Court has denied Trusey's request, stating that while errors in election administration were found, they were not significant enough to invalidate the final election. And another lawsuit against the UNC Board of Election, a UNC student's disqualification in the graduate and professional election has been upheld after an appeal to the student Supreme Court. This is the second time Nyssa Tucker has appealed the board. They are alleging that the board knew the results of the election before the vote to disqualify them for not submitting a financial disclosure statement. The court denied Tucker's appeal, saying that the Board of Election acted within its jurisdiction. The court emphasized that election results do not exempt candidates from following legal requirements. According to the UNC Board of Elections, Tucker won about 70% of the vote in the election. Last month, Tucker filed a complaint against the Board of Education, which ended up pushing the election back and making all candidates write-ins. The Student Supreme Court released its final opinion on Monday. A decade-old mural of former UNC basketball coach Dean Smith off 15501 is expected to be torn down this year. Local artist Scott Nurkin painted the mural in 2015 as a tribute to the late Coach Smith. The vacant building, along with the mural, is being demolished to make way for a new gas station. Some neighbours tell us they are hoping to see the original preserved.
And we heard that the building was going to be torn down and that this beautiful mural was going to be, would go with the building. And so just wanted to see it one more time because it really is beautiful.
It would be a perfect thing to have in a big lobby when you walk in first.
The town of Chapel Hill is yet to announce a demolition date.
A bill is budding in the North Carolina legislature that would legalize marijuana. Who it might help and who it might hurt, coming up after the break.
Everybody can use if they choose to use something other than pharmaceutical medicines.
And take a look outside where pollen is packing an absolute punch right now. Feel like your allergies are worse than ever this year? You're probably not alone. Tune in for an update on how pollen has ramped up over the years in the Triangle.
And a secret garden in Raleigh revealed how a family affair became a historical monument.
Did you know that approximately 9 million people in the U.S. have long vape? Let's make that 9 million and 1. We're Super Nick Ultimate Lawn Spaceship Limited XD Pro Deluxe Max 2000 2.4. And we have what you didn't know you needed. Our vapes are made with 100% natural ingredients, including fruit extracts, metal, lead, car exhaust,
Cut. What did we say about the natural ingredients line?
And if you buy our new cotton cancer, you can get our special edition popcorn lung. Our product is proven to cause erectile dysfunction.
Cures erectile dysfunction.
Are you tired of living your best life? Want to feel anxious, out of touch, and depressed?
Cut! Are you even reading the script?
Why lose just one lung when you can lose two? Do you want to die?
Cut. Like, just cut. Just cut.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Isha Patanaik. Spring allergy season is fully underway, something your stuffy nose might have clued you in on already. Let's take a look outside.
As you can see, is all around campus. It's on the tables in front of the studio and even on the sidewalk. This pollen season has already been especially bad. The Triangle saw its first high pollen reading of the year on March 3rd and has received a high pollen rating 15 more times. Only twice in the last 15 years, the only comparable pollen seasons are 2017 and 2023. Today, the National Weather Service says the pollen count is very high and that it is not expected to change for the rest of the week. So for those of you with allergies, make sure you check with your doctor. To hear even more about pollen, let's go to Nick for the weather forecast.
Hey guys, we're off to a bit of a cloudy start this morning, currently sitting at 55 degrees, and those clouds are going to persist over us for a majority of the day today as well as tomorrow, and that will be reflected in our temperatures. 63 at 1 o'clock, by 4 o'clock we're in the upper 60s, and by 7 o'clock we're going to be in the low 70s. So it's not going to be as warm as we saw the past couple of weeks here in Chapel Hill. But it's still going to be warm for this time of the year, which I'll get to in just a minute. But if you're like me, you've been taking a lot of Flonase recently, a lot of Zyrtec. The pollen is coming back after we saw that severe weather move through on Monday, washed a lot of it away, but maybe a chance for a shower tomorrow, and because of that, pollen forecast very high the rest of the week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all in the very high categories. Might as well throw Sunday in there as well, looking ahead. And the reason why we're not going to get a lot of relief is because we actually have a warm front making its way from the south, from about the Atlanta area. It will move north and east into the Carolinas over the next 24 to 36 hours. And we actually have a low pressure system situated right off the South Carolina coast, spinning counterclockwise, bringing us a lot of warm and moist air. Now, we're not going to see too many showers here in Chapel Hill. In fact, I think there's a better threat of rain the further west you go. But we could see a stray shower or two tomorrow morning. It won't wash the pollen away. But that low pressure cranking in warm and moist air will be the story of this week, because we're going to be seeing record high temperatures. It's going to be hot, hot, hot. Average for this time of the year here in Chapel Hill, 67 degrees. 85 on Thursday. 89 on Friday. That should shatter a record of 88 here in Chapel Hill. Don't be surprised if we touch 90 degrees here in Chapel Hill, especially places east and south of here. We cool down a little bit to 87 on Saturday and then 86 on Sunday as we get a threat of rain. But if you're going out to anything this weekend, whether it's the baseball games against Duke or you're going to Dreamville over in Raleigh, make sure you stay hydrated and make sure you stay cool. We don't see this type of weather here in the Carolinas until about mid to late June, and it's going to feel like mid to late June because all of this warm air is very muggy, and it's going to be very hot and sticky if you're outside, and it's reflected in our 5-day forecast. Clouds Wednesday and Thursday were 72 today, 85 on Thursday as the heat cranks up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You could take that hot to go. I mean, just record warm temperatures in the upper 80s, mid 80s before our next threat of rain on Sunday. And guys, looking ahead after this weekend, temperatures might struggle to get into the mid 60s. So North Carolina weather in a nutshell for you.
Thanks, Nick. Now over on Franklin Street, one business is anticipating a big move from the North Carolina General Assembly, the legalization of marijuana. Carolina Week's Madeline Amati went to the local joint to learn more.
You must be 21 to enter the store, and you must require a valid physical ID upon entry.
Evianie Durand, the manager at the hemp store, says her customers are eager.
Every single day I have somebody asking us the when question.
And the answer? Maybe soon.
So yeah, we're always super excited for marijuana legalization. This new House bill that has been proposed has been the most progressive one so far.
Right now, I'm in the hemp store on Franklin Street. They can't sell any marijuana products, but House Bill 413 could change that. And the bill's sponsors say it could generate hundreds of millions of dollars for the state in tax revenue. Duran says the woman and minority-owned company sells marijuana alternatives like Delta 8 and 9, which is harvested from a cannabis plant earlier than marijuana. The substance is legal under the 2018 Farm Bill. Duran says legalizing marijuana could help the hemp store grow.
So I feel like with them actually legalizing it is going to bring that stigma down for sure and make people more comfortable in walking into places like this.
The hemp store conducts multiple lab tests before placing products on the shelves. They say this practice would ensure a seamless transition if marijuana is legalized and regulated. Some organizations, like Smart Approaches to Marijuana, oppose legalization. They say it can be a gateway to other drugs, promote underage usage, and even cause mental health challenges. But legalization is a move the hemp store and its diverse range of customers hope to see happen soon. In Chapel Hill, Madeline Amati, Carolina Week.
The bill called the Marijuana Legalization and Reinvestment Act was first introduced by Charlotte Representative Jordan Lopez. If it passes, North Carolina will become the 25th state to legalize the recreational use of marijuana.
Final preparations are underway at Raleigh's Dorothea Dix Park for the 5th and final Dreamville Festival this weekend. The two-day event is more than just music. It spotlights local businesses and brings millions to the area. According to a city report, the event generated over $145 million to the local economy, 1/6 of that from operations and the rest in visitor spending. Dreamville organisers announced this would be the last year for the festival. Local businesses saying they're sad to see it go. The Dankery began preparing months ago, hiring extra staff and stocking up on supplies. Owner Ian Burris says this is their first year as official vendors, but Dreamville's impact has always been felt at his restaurant.
So yeah, that feels great, and just seeing like so many people come back in town for it. So the energy all around is just really good.
Dreamville hasn't shared why this will be its final year, but local leaders say they're exploring new festival options to fill the gap. Graduation is just over a month away, which means it's almost time to celebrate our seniors. Next week, UNC is celebrating Senior Week with many events around campus. The week starts with a night at Sutton's Sunday, where seniors can enjoy a night with friends at an iconic restaurant on Franklin Street. The week also includes a masquerade ball next Tuesday, along with the iconic Bell Tower climb from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Wednesday. At the climb, they will also be able to pick up their class of 2025 senior editions, an 88-page trip down memory lane. The week concludes Saturday with a senior prom for a class who never got one because of COVID-19. Now, Isha, you are a senior. What events are you looking most forward to?
I'm looking forward to the masquerade ball. It would be very fun to make our own masks, but also I heard the prom was casino themed, so something very exciting to look forward to.
Speaking of big nights, I heard it was a pretty big night for Carolina baseball. Molly, what's coming up?
Thanks, Sarah. Last night was a historic night at the Bosch thanks to these three pitchers: Folger Boas, Olin Johnson, and Cameron Seagraves. Find out why up next.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. Let's hear from Sports Extra's Molly Malik on all things Carolina athletics.
It has been a hectic few days for our men's basketball team with the opening of the transfer portal and a long-term Tar Heels graduation coming up. But just 8 days after putting his name in the transfer portal, UNC guard Elliot Cadeau is on his way to the University of Michigan. The sophomore point guard started every game this season at UNC, averaging 9.4 points and 6.2 assists. A former five-star recruit, Cadeau started 68 games in his 2 seasons with the Tar Heels. And with Elliot Cadeau saying goodbye to Carolina Blue Skies and RJ Davis graduating, we have a start to our basketball fall 2025 season ins and outs. Obviously, the 2 guards are out, but saying goodbye to them is also saying goodbye to our short backcourt. I mean, Carolina's size posed some challenges for UNC throughout the season. But that also means that we have some ins, and one of those is Jonathan Powell. He is a 6'6" guard from West Virginia who committed late last night to play for Hubert Davis and the Tar Heels for his sophomore season. But now it's time for everyone's favorite pastime between basketball seasons, baseball. On Tuesday night, the Diamond Heels took on Gardner Webb at the Bosch. The Stokely streak continued. He hit his 10th home run of the season, driving in Luke Stevenson for the first 2 runs of the game. In the 6th inning, the Tar Heel offense exploded with another home run from Slam Angelo, as well as a double bringing in Tyson Bass. Bass blasted the ball to third base for a triple, scoring Stokely and Stevenson. Carolina finished the inning with 9 runs and 6 hits. Carolina coming out on top 11-1.
Swing at something good and hit something hard as you can. And first I thought I got under it a little bit, but then it just kept going and going, and then a smile came on my face when it went over the fence. So it was good to finally hit one in front of this Carolina crowd. So.
And the historic night was created by these 3 pitchers, Folger Boaz, Olin Johnson, and Cameron Seagraves. These pitchers took the Tar Heels through the 7-inning game all the way to the team's first no-hitter since 1999. And looking forward, it's a battle of the Blues this weekend at Boschmer Stadium. The Diamond Heels and Blue Devils are settled for a heated rivalry series starting tomorrow. Both teams face midweek matchups. The better Blue won, and so did the other guys. Meanwhile, Carolina softball hopes to continue their momentum from the Syracuse series and defeat Charlotte this afternoon. Carolina scored 2 victories thanks to elite performances by Kat Rodriguez and Carly Myrtle. Rodriguez has been an absolute force for the Tar Heels all season with 14 RBIs and 3 home runs just this week. Carly Myrtle has also set the bar sky high for her teammates, hitting her 14th home run of the season. And on bars, giant Lolly Dekanoidze is on the 2025 regular season All-America team. At the ACC Championships, Dekanoidze secured a perfect 10, becoming the 4th Tar Heel all-time to do so. She's the ACC co-champion in this event and is also on the ACC bars team. Dekanoidze will compete alongside her teammates in the NCAA Regionals in Tuscaloosa on Friday. And the team will compete against familiar faces from Alabama and Cal and new faces from Iowa. Coming off the highest team score in the Dana Durante era, this team is reaching new heights, having not gotten a team bid since 2023. UNC trailed Cal in the ACC Championship by only a .425 score difference. And after 2 losses against Alabama on their home turf this season, this meet will be one to watch. Tune into Sports Extra on Friday for more about Carolina athletics. Isha, Sarah, back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Molly. Coming up, we'll be back with a story about a garden in Raleigh that is hidden in plain sight. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
And welcome back to Carolina Week. We have one more story for you that's perfect for the season and this upcoming sunny weather.
Raleigh's Secret Garden opens its doors to the public for the first time in 2 years. The Isabel Bowen Henderson House and Gardens, a Raleigh historic landmark, welcomed visitors on Sunday for a rare public viewing. The privately owned garden was first opened in 1938 and remains one of the last surviving historic gardens in the city. Inside its doors lie blooming flowers, stone sidewalks, and a historic home built in the Freedmen's Village of Oberlin. Ross Stevenson Henderson, grandnephew and the owner, maintains the 1.2-acre garden that has survived nearly a century despite threats from developers.
So I'm just hoping we can preserve it on into the future and preserve the legacy that my great aunt and my grandmother started here.
Stevenson currently works with Preservation North Carolina to establish permanent preservation elements for this historic property.
Well, Sarah, I heard you were right there on Sunday. What was your experience like?
It was like taking a step back in time. It was good to see people of all ages, old and young, appreciate this historic garden.
What was your favorite part?
I got to go inside the house and see Isabel Henderson's original art room that still had her paintbrushes there and her chalk.
Wow, very exciting things we are learning. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Carolina Week. Make sure to join us again next Wednesday and watch Carolina Ahora tomorrow at 8:45 a.m. Have a good day.